lot of really awesome stuff to offer agents. I know Jessica went over that in the last meeting, but we do still do the mortgage classes every month. So we're going to be introducing a lot of the programs during those classes. So come by. It's not always the same stuff. If you're a seasoned agent or if you're a new agent, it helps both of you. And I think that's it. Do you want to have any questions? Need anything? Yes, ma'am.
What is the name of your app that you can download to our cell phones?
I can send it to you.
Okay, well, I've already got it. I just wanted everybody else to do
I have.
it.
Well, you can download it. It's guaranteed rate, but for the direct link to our office, I think I need to send it to you. So what I can do is send on a mass email with that information. That way you guys have it if you need it. But
we could post it.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Y'all have a good weekend.
When is your class, do you know?
I think it's the second Tuesday of the month.
Second.
3.
So check into when her class is.
Let me confirm, but.
Oh, I have it on the second Wednesday
That works.
on my calendar.
Okay.
And not that my calendar is necessarily correct.
Well, I have baby brain, so I'm probably not correct.
How are the babies?
They're good. They're growing.
Awesome. Okay, so last week I played Red Day video that Earl had made for us, and they released one for the region, and I just think it's fun to see what we all do as a community. So I'm going to play a fun video. Or wait, did I mess up and not go to the breakfast sponsor? Okay, before I play that video, let me go to my breakfast sponsor. Sorry, Manny, are you around here somewhere?
Yep, right here.
Come talk to us. I almost skipped you. That would have been.
That's right, we already got the food.
I don't have baby break.
Alright, well, good morning everybody. My name is Manny Aponte with Infinity Renewable Energy. I'm going to talk a little bit about solar today. It's an industry that is booming, and it's a good thing for the earth, the environment, and also for the homeowners to have a more sustainable home. So a few things that I'm going to talk, and I'll make it short and simple. Thanks Mrs. Ryan to give me the opportunity to speak in front of your team. Next please. So why you should care about solar? Okay, so solar is growing in Texas. As you guys probably know, California is the biggest market when it comes to solar, but Texas is a big market too, and it's positioned to be, the number one market within the next 5 years. Right now, what we see in renewable energy is a bunch of wind farm, and one of the companies that we operate is called Tri-Global Energy, and we have that experience in the renewable. Right now, Google made an analysis on their map, and they say that Houston shows an opportunity to be the number one city in America where there's more opportunity for solar. And the reason why is because there's a lot of open space, a lot of solar availability, and that makes a great opportunity for solar. So there's some benefit about going solar. First of all, for those of you who probably knew about solar, 10 years ago it was super expensive, but for the past 10 years, the prices on equipment has significantly dropped at least 50%. So right now there's a bunch of incentives and rebates depending on the market. But one of the most important things is that there's a thing called incentive tax credit, which is basically whatever you invest in this solar system, you can have a 30% on whatever you invest, and you can get that as a credit when you do your taxes. So if at the end, let's say that you buy a system for $10,000, at the end of the year, if you have to pay taxes, and let's say that you owe to the government, $5,000, then you can use $3,000 as a credit, so you only pay $2,000. So it is a good incentive, and that incentive is until 2019. After that, it's going to start decreasing to 26%, and then by 2023, it's going to be gone. So it is one incentive that is in place right now. It was extended. It was due to expire in 2016, but then President Obama extended. So we'll see if it's going to continue extended. But rebate and incentive are just are there just to incentivize the industry and create adoption. But no industry is should be relying on incentives. So it's very likely that this is gonna go away, okay? So this is more about like what I just mentioned here about the prices have gone down. In addition to that, there's signature solar loans available for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, you name it. But basically, you know, everybody has to pay electricity. So right now, with the prices have come down, you can switch all the money that you're paying on electricity into your low monthly payment. So it is this thought about like same as renting like your home versus owning your home. So right now you're renting your electricity, so might as well, you know, use the same money and put it back to your home. And that's basically the concept right now when it comes to solar. So one of the biggest questions that I get, you know, what happened, you know, when you have solar? Well, the equipment comes with 25-year warranty, and Sunfinity provides a 10-year workmanship. But just so you know, like these modules, which is also known as panels, they're tested with a 1.3-inch held up to 60 miles per hour. So they throw this hell to the modules just to test it. So they're very durable. Like, and usually, you know, let's say that there's a hailstorm and messed up all those modules. Usually, when you have a solar system installed in your home, you add that into the home insurance, and you're covered as well. There's some other solar signature loans that they also protect a bumper-to-bumper warranty, but that will be like something that eventually, if you guys are interested, I'll be happy to, you know, tell you more. So what makes a person, you know, a good candidate for solar? Well, it has to do be a lot with, you know, solar availability, but also you guys can find yourself. There's a, if you search in Google, Project Sunroof, it's gonna pop up a website, and you can put your address, and that's gonna show the solar availability in that address. And what that tells you is, you know, if somebody is a good prospect for solar, and you're gonna see like a legend with different colors, and the more yellowish, that means that there's a lot of radiation for sun exposure, so that's a good thing. Okay. So this is this is the address, google.com/sunroof, that you guys can look for it. And then, you know, eventually, you know, if you guys are interested, we have a program for Realtor. If you go to sunfinity.com/Realtor, and you put one of your customers, I'll make sure that I'll reach out to you first, and basically I can put together a design at no cost, but at least, you know, the homeowner will have the information to make an informed decision whether he's interested or not. We give basically a $500 rebate for the realtor who is interested in offering this, and if the homeowner decides to go solar, then, you know, we give that as an incentive for the realtor. So this is basically what you're gonna see, like on the design that we put together. It's very short and simple. You're gonna see like a design with the panels. We're gonna name out like how many panels are they. The size of the panel, there's basically the measurement is on watts. The one that we use is 300 watts. The microinverter, for those of you, you know, the solar panel basically creates DC electricity. So you need to convert that to AC electricity, which is what we use at home. So that's the, you know, inverters. And, you know, we also mentioned the warranty that we have on the equipment, and the workmanship. And then what you're gonna see is two options, a 10-year and a 20-year if the homeowner decides to finance. And we just put the monthly payment, what would that be, and the interest rate. But again, you know, we have 12 years. It's, you know, like maybe, you know, you guys, if you wanna like add this before the homeowner close on their home, then that's the best alternative. You know, if they can just like purchase the home and also within the same loan pay for the solar system. It makes the most financial sense. So then the next part that we're gonna have is basically the monthly without solar, which is the homeowner what they're currently paying, and then based on the utility escalator, that means like why is the percentage that the utility is expected to increase year over year, and then, you know, this will be like the cost with Sunfinity, and we're basically gonna put them side by side so the homeowner can, you know, have some information. So A little bit about Sunfinity. We're based here in Texas. Our corporate office headquarters in Dallas. We have another office in California, and I'm the regional director, so it's my responsibility to develop Houston market, Austin and San Antonio, and this part between Dallas and Houston. So please consider me your asset. If you have any question or if you think that somebody might be a good candidate, I'll be thrilled to help you. Sunfinity, again, we operate another company which is called TriGlobal. TriGlobal is the second largest wind farm in America, and they have $16 billion worth of assets in the west side of Texas, the Panhandle area. So basically, Sunfinity is their solar extension. So now that's why we are Sunfinity Renewable Energy. Can I just say? So, all right. Well, thank you very much for your time. My information is out there, and I'll be here a few minutes if you guys like to chat. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
You were mentioning TriGlobal and the wind farm. So do you do the installation of, is it called turbines? Do you
Yeah.
do those as well?
Yeah, well, TriGlobal, that's what they do is, that's mostly utility scale. And we do also utility scale in solar. Right now, like the opportunity that I'm talking to you guys is more like residential and business.
Oh, okay, so you couldn't do the turbine for our residential, at least not right now?
No,
Okay.
no, because it will take a lot of space.
Gotcha.
Well, thank you for breakfast, and everybody get his info and connect with him. I'm gonna move this back to where this one is, because I want this in you guys' brain. And now we're gonna go to that wonderful video that I talked about earlier. Is that what I'm supposed to do? We're in here for like 1 second. Cool. So we all, as a collective entity, do that. So I put a thing up here for the. I'm messing up again. Gotta watch me every second.
Okay.
For the committees, what do you guys as committees do? So the Career Development Committee with Donna Story and Shelley Faust reviews all levels of training, assist in the implementation of training programs to support associates in achieving their goals. Growth Committee assists the overall growth of the Market Center, helping us attract new associates to the Market Center. Culture Committee, which you just saw in action, assisting in raising funds for Keller Williams Associates in need, community projects, Keller Williams Cares International, create a Market Center no one would ever want to leave. profitability with Jennifer and both Jennifers. Monitor and analyze the income and expense to improve overall profitability, because what matters? You guys' profit share matters. System budgeting, forecast process, informs ALC and associates of the financial performance of the market center. So any of these committees could use you guys' participation. And I know the growth committee is specifically looking for a couple of people, and then the culture committee, well, all of the committees could use your participation. So it means something to get involved. Welcome new agents. If you guys haven't met them, I want to introduce them again. Dina Williams, Tina Powers, Tammy Alexander, Chad Baskin, Kirsten, I call her Kirsten Oliver, so I'm not sure if this is her last name, Fancy.
Maybe,
Is she? It goes by Oliver to me. Shelly Parker is in the room. Congratulations on her first closing. Cheer for peers. That Chelsea back there. We got a double, right? Yeah, we got it done. Love that. Success is simple, not easy. So let's talk about Kelly, your personal assistant. I don't really have so much to say about it other than, are you guys watching it? Have you downloaded it? Does everyone in the room say downloaded it? Say yes.
Yes.
Is anybody ever going into it and looking at it?
Yes.
I find it really easy. What I really like about it is when I'm looking for another agent, I just say find somebody, and they find it, and it finds you. And sometimes if it doesn't recognize your voice or it's got a common name, then you might have to type in, find the name. But I loved it because it's easy to, I don't have to get everybody in my database.
And as you guys go to send referrals and receive referrals, understand what it looks like to search for someone. So go search somewhere so you can look to see what it is that people are seeing when they search you. And it's coming soon where they're doing neighborhoods, right, Earl?
Yep. Or sales in neighborhoods. Yeah.
Sales in neighborhoods. So make sure you're doing that.
Do it.
Do it. Just do it. Okay, so your DTD2 this week is N&R, nurture your relationships. I brought you guys a handy handout of the letter groups because I want to know if you understand what it means. So the N&R part is your letter groups for this week, right, Beth? Mm-hmm. And why is it N&R, right? Part of it is to help you guys to remember what your letters are. And also, if you'll see here, the percentage of people with those last names. So I want to ask you guys what you think about doing this. Who has any kind of input on yes or no to doing this? Anybody say, no, I'm not going to do it?
I haven't been doing it so far.
I haven't been doing it so far. See, Allison's brave. Anybody not get one?
But this will help me remember to do it.
Well, you can put this up on your board, right? I always have to check the letter groups also. What I like about it is it has a start and a finish. You know when you're done. It's not oh, I need to work on my database. It's, I have these specific phone numbers to contact, and if I contact those people this week, by the end of the quarter, I would have contacted every single person in my database. Is that mine? She has many KW pairs. So keep those letter groups handy. Do I have it? I'm a mess. Okay, training calendar. So we are on the end of the month, and as we go into the rest of the week and next week, tomorrow I think is going to be awesome, and it is called Gathering of the Eagles Recap. Steve Schluter's driving in to teach it to us 11 to 12:15, and then he's going to go to Huntsville afterwards. So there was a national event, I don't know, a week or two ago with Real Trends, which is one of the major real estate publications, where they got the brokerages in from all over the country and talked about what's happening in the market. Not really in the market, but in the state of the industry, kind of. So Steve will be bringing in and breaking that down for us, recommend that class. And then you guys know that, Judy, this headshot thing here, is that going on? Is there a headshot person coming in?
Yeah.
Well, it says Sunday, but I don't think that's right, but is it next week, or do you know?
No, it's on June 4th, I think.
Okay, so it's just on that Monday, the June 4th. So if you guys need a current headshot, be aware that that's happening. On Tuesday, the 5th, your team meeting is at the Villas of White Oak. You guys know that? So kind of posted up around the market center. You guys have been liking going to some of the new construction models for team meetings, yeah?
Yes.
Right? And then your career development committee is that day. The 7th, I see there's a Texas Homeland Commitment to Close class. And then do you guys know about the paintball face-off 4 to 7 on the 7th? Say yes if you know about it.
Yes.
We're facing off to the Woodlands in paintball, that's all I know. I'm gonna go, so I'm worried that those little balls are gonna hurt.
They do.
Do you bruise easily?
I don't know, I haven't done that kind of thing in a long time. So that'll be fun. What else is going on? The block party on the 19th. Shelley, do you want to talk to us?
And so the listings themed block party was rescheduled from May. There's so much going on in May, everyone into school year, lots of things happening, so we felt it was better to move it to June 19th. We're going to do some role playing, some scripts, how to prepare for a listing, what to do from the time you get the phone call to the time you take the listing, possibly if we have time all the way up until, you know, it actually gets entered into HAR. So it's going to be a great class. We hope that all of you will be there. If you have anything that you would like for us to add into it, anything specifically that you feel like you need help with, please feel free to send us an email, call us, stop by the office, and let us know, and we would be happy to get that information in there for you, if possible. It's going to be Tuesday from 10 to 1. Please RSVP. Lunch will be provided.
Okay, awesome. And then the other thing that I highlighted was Thursday, the 28th. I know that's a little bit far away. It looks like there's a 4th of July happy hour going on that day. So put it on your calendar, 6 o'clock. That's the culture committee bringing us just kind of a get together. You know, we'll all be in the spirit of the holiday. We're all just coming down from the Memorial Day and we'll be revved up again by then, okay? So I told you about this one. Tomorrow, 11 to 12:15. Told you about this. I guess I told you about all this already. Listen. What do I mean when I say some of this? So it's like usually as I look at this and I think about what kind of tools I have for you guys, where do I come in on it on today's meeting, or where do you guys not know about some things? So I'm going to talk about this again in a second. Who has been to Mega Camp in the room? Only a couple of you. What I think about Mega Camp is we're so lucky that it's so close. People come in from all over the world and certainly all over the country. And if you want to put down the dates, August 14th to 17th, they released tickets last week. Hosted by Keller Map Coaching, Mega Camps where top producing professionals go to focus, embrace opportunity, connect with the most esteemed leaders. Basically what it is Gary bringing top talent in from all over the country. I don't know if he does the world, I would say more like the country, although I think he does Canada. And there's lots of panels. And what's different than the convention in February is we all basically stay in one room, so you don't have to wander all over the convention center. And it is mega agents talking about how they basically get their business and keep their business. Market update. I want to.
Before you go to that, no, I'm sorry I asked you that for a phone call, but what's the cost of that?
You'll have to go and look because the ticket prices change each year, and then you got to get your room and board as well. And I don't know. I haven't looked to see what they cost this year. Anybody know? Anybody got their ticket? Earl's gonna see if he can check right now. But how you guys get to it is go to your events tab on your kw.com and you'll see it. And if you go to register, you'll see.
And I haven't been in a couple of years, so I remember when I went to Mega Camp a while back, it was mostly based around technology. So it's that shift, has that sort of shift?
No, there's a technology specific part of the camp that's technology.
Okay.
So I'm sure they'll be telling us a lot about what's going on with the labs. And then Gary basically just does panels of with all kinds of different people. I I used to think when I was an agent, I didn't go for a lot of years because I thought, well, I'm not a mega agent, so that doesn't apply to me. And then I realized after I moved away that people were flying in to go over there, and I'm like, well, are you a mega agent? And then, no, anyone can go. So, I think it's awesome. I want a group of us to go. So I'm going to breeze through a little bit of the market update today. I gave this to you last week, and I almost took it out because I thought, I already did it. But I thought it was worth going over again because I think that it takes a couple of times before you really can interpret it and then say, how would I take this out to my client and how would I use it? So what I did was I pulled some slides from the vision speech. I told you guys that those are very easy to watch, 20 minutes long. There's 4 chapters where Gary comes and interprets basically the state of the market for us from, that's released from February. So when I look at what to tell you about it, this is where the home prices go up about 4% year over year. So when you're talking to your client, an expectation of real estate investment would be a 4% annual appreciation rate. We did have a hiccup in that. That's the one time in history we've seen that. So what happened to these people here when they bought and sold? And then what has happened since then? And is there sometimes still a fear that it could happen again? You know, but what we saw is that 4% line started over, and we expect it so far to do just basically go back to what it, basically the market recovered and steadily seems to be doing the same thing it's done historically. So if somebody says, is it a good investment, or what about the bubble, you know, here's where you have, since '89, when they kept, this is the National Association of Realtors data, since they've been tracking your home price annual appreciation, you wanted to stay around 4. What happened when it jumped up to 12? Well, that was great for the sellers who sold at that moment, right? Kind of bad for these people down here. And then now we're at a 5.7. So what does that mean? I told you guys last week. If you're appreciated at a 5.7 and that's more than a 4, somebody tell me what that would mean to a client. Be good for a seller because that means your prices are overpriced. Your houses and your inventory are overpriced. Now this is national. What about locally, right? But what we know is that prices when they're above won't stay above. Does that mean it's a good time to sell? Now what about buying? Basically your buyers are overpaying. And you know that's true when you're seeing multiple offers, right? They're paying top price. So is that a conversation to have? And yet, what about the interest rates going up? So if you guys know about it, you can talk about it.
You said that was a national?
This is national. This is from the National Association of Realtors. And then I show you guys some local stuff as well, because that's what your clients want to know. Well, you're doing a CMA in your own neighborhoods, right, as you're talking about a listing. But if you just have the conversation out there with your clients, what's the market doing? What's inventory like? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? The mortgage rates, historically, we think they should be at around 6% for a healthy economy. Obviously, when they go way up, they actually survived this in the 80s. And now we've been low, so low, so low, so low, and we know they're on the rise, and we know that we expect them to rise. And they're saying 3 times this year. Sometimes the Fed will change its mind. It has to do with what the economy's doing, sometimes with the government, the politics. But as it goes up 1%, for example, what would that do in the payment of your client? That's something that you guys should know the answer to. Affordability has been at an all-time low, Realty staying at an all-time low. So somebody tell me what it means if the affordability is at a 16. What does that mean? That's talking about the percentage of your income that you're spending on your housing. So you know when the loan officers basically are like, you need to make 4 times what your payment is, you're looking at your income. Right now, you can buy a house at about 16% of your income. We have a very low affordability for houses, taxes, versus what people make. So if you're talking to a buyer, are we going to stay at this affordability forever? No, because interest rates will rise. Weeks in your home search, this is national. I like to talk about this whenever you're talking to a buyer for the first time. How long does the process take? Most people look at how many houses. Most people spend about this much time in this process. Right now, it's a seller's market. Inventory is low. you may end up making an offer this weekend kind of thing, right? But the average nationally is 10 weeks in a home search. And that's just because of what the inventory is. It's going to be low based on inventory being low. So during this time, when we were saturated with foreclosures, what happened? People had more houses to look at. That's basically all it is. So it kind of depends on what price range they're in as well. New home construction, I'll be talking a little more about new construction next week. I want you guys to know that it's a big percentage of the market right now. And in our area, it's a big percentage of the market. So I know that when I was an agent, I didn't pay that much attention to new home construction because for so long it wasn't really where the deals were. Right now there's some great deals and then bringing you lots of new construction stuff. And I think also as you watch the trends in new construction, it gives you an idea of the state of the housing market. Eventually new construction will catch up with inventory. They'll just keep building until there's enough inventory. So your market snapshot. This is something that I brought to you last week. If you guys write this down, kwstats.com. I think only one of you asked me after the meeting. This is how much you guys are so interested. But what it is it's for you, for local, for your client packages. So here's an example of what it looks like. You go in and you put your MLS info in there, and you see at the top right where it has my name, as your logo, it's branded to you, and it just spits this information out for you based on what area you put in. So this is area 19. This is for the units sold and days on market and percentage of the market, okay? I've got 2018, 2017. I've got April over April, so you've got some year-to-date, some month over month of an area. This range right here is 70-something% of the market sales. So if you're out of this range, what do you tell a client, right? Well, we're not even seeing that many. That's why there's so many little of these. There are none, right? But 160 to 400, that's the bulk of the market. So if you guys are thinking about who to target for your buyers, target the sweet spot, I think. And then for your listing clients, let's say you're doing a $500,000, $600,000 house. We didn't even have any sales last month in this price range. I know we're coming into summer, that's great, but let's just say in those conversations, does this help when they're talking about, oh, let's just put it a little high? No, you've got to compete with how many other houses in this price range. 1 sale last month, 3 sales last month. Look at their days on market. Can you guys see that? 265 in this price range, 150 in this price range. Now I'm talking about area 19, so we're not talking about waterfront, but still that's just nice to take with you. And this is the same data for area 39. And if I'm in front of you, if you guys look at it, you can interpret it. Still a humongous percent of the market, 17% in that 300,000 range. And you guys know that because you know what inventory is. There is nothing on those lower price ranges, right? But you can kind of talk to someone about your expected days on market. Like I remember whenever I used to have a house and the seller's freaking out because it's been 96 days since they listed. But you can look and say, hey, that's actually trending in this price range, don't worry, right? So I want you guys to have that and to be able to put that in your listing presentation and be able to interpret it. This one is for Huntsville. Your market share totals, that if you guys don't put these in your listing presentations, it's just very easy to stick right in, and it just shows why list with me, because we have the market share. How do we keep market share? It's why you guys are getting listings. But this is just easy to talk about when you're at a listing presentation about how much percentage we hold over the other brokerages. So this is always on your internet, updated each month for you, very easy to print and use. So let's talk about productivity. You guys are all a little low energy today, and I know talking numbers is not super exciting. I sometimes look at video and go, okay, can we take this long of a video? But I want you guys to watch the video, and then I'm going to ask for some ahas and action items after. So this will be so fun. You have the video, Earl? Yes. Send it to me. Oh. Okay. I almost knocked that over. I'm going to ask you guys to get off your phones and into the video. It's not that long of your life. You're here anyway. Work with me. Off of your device.
Oh,
You here?
Hang on. A couple minutes after. going with this one?
Sometimes I send it to him early and then he,
No, it was both pages. There's how. I transferred over. There.
it's a little bit long.
Hi, it's Robin Sharma, author of The Leader Who Had No Title, founder of the Titan Academy, and welcome to this mastery session. This mastery session is all about a method to times 100, to increase by a factor of 100 your productivity. And we live in a world right now where productivity, and in particular what I call exponential productivity, has never been so important. Here's a brain tattoo for you to consider. An addiction to distraction will be the death of your creative production. Here's another brain tattoo for you to consider. We live in a world where focus is more valuable than even your intelligence. I mean, if you watch most performers today, you watch most people in business today, you watch most people in your community today, and they are walking while checking their social feeds. You know, they are addicted to the entertainment of video games. They are spending the best hours of their days watching dancing cats on YouTube. I mean, it is incredible right now how consumed people are with their tiny white screens. And yet if you look at the A players, if you look at many of the most creative and productive people on the planet, they are doing and working in such vastly different ways. Because if you want to achieve the results only 5% achieve, you've got to think and produce and behave like only 5% of the people on the planet. And the best people on the planet in terms of creativity and productivity are not spending their finest hours addicted to distraction. They are doing work that matters. They're not doing fake work, they're doing real work. And so in this mastery session, I want to walk you through a number of protocols that will really help you multiply your productivity in the finest of ways. And I'm going to get right into the first one, which is the 90-90-1 rule. Now, I've become pretty well known for this. I've taught it to a lot of people who attend my annual event, the Titan Summit, and they have used this one tool alone to create vast amounts of productivity that have scaled their businesses, scaled their impact on the world, and created world-class lifestyles. So I really invite you to pay even more attention to the 90-9-1 rule. And what's that all about? It's pretty simple, like any great rule. For the next 90 days, spend the first 90 minutes of your workday on your single most important opportunity to move the needle in your industry. And I'll repeat that again with great respect because it's so important, I believe, to your productivity. The 90-90-1 rule is simply for the next 90 days, spend the first 90 minutes of your workday on your single most game-changing opportunity. Because what happens? A lot of us get to work and we spend our best hours on our least important activities. We get to work and we start checking our social feed. We get to work and we check our text. We get to work and we chit-chat at the water cooler about the latest TV show that we watched last night. And research has shown that the morning hours are when you have the most focus, when you have the most energy, and when you have the most willpower. And so you want to use that first 90 minutes. You know, that is game time. That's show time. The second piece of technology to create exponential productivity is what I call tight bubbles of total focus. Your environment is so important. And if you look at B performers or C producers, they really don't pay a lot of attention to their environment. And so they get very distracted. There's lots of noises. Their phones are going off. Maybe there's news in the background. Maybe there's messy environments all around them. Maybe there's toxic people. What I'm suggesting to you as the second piece of technology to really 100 times your productivity is this. Install environments of tight bubbles of total focus. The way I run my work life, on certain days, I am very hard to reach. And I challenge you with great love and respect, be very hard to reach during key times of your week. I mean, I see a lot of people, and it's not judging them, it's just observing them. Every time their phone rings, they check it. Or they have, these loud notifications, so they're constantly being distracted. And we know what the research says. The research says we spend 2.1 hours a day in distraction. and it takes 21 minutes to refocus your focus after you've been distracted. So if you are being distracted by notifications, checking your phone, checking your Twitter feed, checking your Facebook feed, looking on Instagram, checking all the different platforms, that is going to destroy your focus. So the second piece of technology is create these tight bubbles of total focus. And the way I do it is I have certain days that I label as creative days. And on those creative days, I actually go device free. And on those days, I'm very hard to find. And on those days, I'm in total solitude. And on those days, I go to certain places. I call them my Menlo labs, just like Edison had his Menlo lab. And these places are very minimalist. And there's no one there. And that's where I do my best work. So install these tight bubbles of total focus and create these Menlo labs where you're completely distraction free. And then you will find your brain will drop from the beta state into the alpha state where you will do your best work and get your best ideas. The next piece of technology that will help you create exponential productivity in your work life so you truly impact the world around you is choose your peer group really, really well. There's a lot of excellent science coming out and a lot of excellent research coming out that says the number one way to improve your behavior is to surround yourself with a peer group or social circle of people who are also playing at the level you want to be playing at. So if you want to be a high performer in terms of your productivity, populate your life with high performers. Now here's the science behind it. In the brain, we have something called the mirror neuron system of the brain. And it dates back to thousands of years ago when we were living on the savannah. And this mirror neuron system allowed us to model the behavior of the dominant people in the tribe. So if someone figured out a tool or figured out fire or a better way to survive, subconsciously, this system in the brain allowed us to model the behavior. And I think this is pretty fascinating information. Now here we are in the modern world, and what happens? Subconsciously, we are modeling the behavior of the people we spend most of our time with. And so if you are around victims, you will start behaving like a victim. If you are around people who are mediocre performers, you will subconsciously start behaving like them. If you're around people who gossip, who are not A players, who do not produce very much, you will subconsciously, because of the mirror neuron system in the brain, start performing like them. Why else is it important to surround yourself with a peer set or social orbit of A players? Emotional contagion. And that's a scientific phenomenon that simply says we pick up on the emotions of the people that are around us. And so if you are around a social circle of people who are inspired, people who want to do great work, people who want to be ultra productive, people who want to be innovative, people who are relentlessly optimizing their work, their thinking, their creativity, just being around them will allow you to adopt their energy and their ways of being. And then the final technology for you to create exponential productivity is what I call learned minimalism. So, minimalism is often considered as a design philosophy, right? It's like very stark, very sparse, sometimes industrial, lots of white, not a lot of things. It's, like you go into a boutique hotel and, it's designed by Philippe Starck, the great French designer, and it's very minimalist. What I'm encouraging you to do with great love and respect is to be ultra productive, adopt the mindset of learned minimalism. Now, I've worked with a lot of the most creative and productive people on the planet. I've worked with billionaires and CEOs. I've worked with true titans. Here's one thing I've observed in them. They understand that the secret to genius is not complexity, it's simplicity. If you look at a Picasso of any industry, if you look at a great artist, they didn't fill their work days and their personal lives with a lot of things. They filled them with a few things. I guess what I'm suggesting to you is one of the secrets to iconic productivity is be monomaniacally focused at being world class at just a few things. And if you look at any great artist, any great entrepreneur, any great business builder, any great author, any great humanitarian, they were monomaniacally focused on one thing. They were minimalists. And so what I want to leave you with is this. Maybe this year, rather than having 50 projects that you want to achieve at the highest level? Maybe pick 3. This year, rather than having 1,000 Facebook friends, maybe go deep and develop 3 really great relationships. This year, or maybe the next few months, rather than trying to read 20 audiobooks, 50 ebooks, go to 5 courses, why not focus on 1 course and 1 audiobook? And why not study 1 great autobiography? Maybe it's Isaacson's autobiography of Steve Jobs. Maybe it's Nelson Mandela's autobiography. I'm going through the autobiography of Martin Luther King Jr. right now, which actually wasn't written by him, but it's called the autobiography of Martin Luther King Jr. I am encouraging you to really adopt this thinking protocol of becoming a minimalist. Even your home, fill it with just a few things, right? Even your work life, just a few projects. Even your clients, just the highest leverage clients. And especially your days, focus on just those few priorities that when you roll up your sleeves and go deep in them and invest what I call the trinity of your assets, your focus, your energy, and your willpower on those few things, they will allow you to birth art into the world, which will allow the world to call you world class.
Hi, it's Rodney. I invite you to subscribe to this podcast.
You can turn yours on,
Definitely go over.
Okay, I know that was long.
That was good, though.
So anybody have any thoughts around what he talked about? I'm gonna help you review. And one thing that I thought about as I watched this video, because it was in a leadership thing I was listening to, and the people who were gathered that were talking about how amazing that content is, isn't it the same thing that we hear in the one thing? Isn't it the same thing Gary talks about in the 6 personal perspectives, which you guys might not know what I'm talking about. But it's just basically like there's not really any new ideas. But what's he talking about when he talked about 90-91? Your first 90 minutes of your day is spent on the most important thing. Before the people call about the inspections, before the people go to see a lease out of the blue, all of that, do you guys have one thing that you're working on in your busiest time? For me, I'm like you guys, as I wish that you had one content of training. That's why I'm not filling your calendars with other training. If you would just do your never-ending referrals, activities each week, how far ahead would you guys get in your businesses? So many of you have talked to me about your businesses, and it's just right there. So what about, I would just encourage you guys, I'd love for you as an action item to say, what would you work on if I took everything out of your life besides that first 90 minutes of your day? And does anybody here not believe that you could just not do other stuff during that first 90 minutes? I mean, it's all the Millionaire Real Estate Agent is about, is lead generating your first 90 minutes, right? Calling people that matter. The next one was, what was the next one, Earl? Tight bubbles. Tight bubbles of something focus. Something focus. I wrote it down. Total focus. That's what I have. What does that mean?
Avoid distraction.
How would you avoid distraction though?
Like silencing the phone.
Right? So in the, what I think of is it's time blocking. So like where he was talking about taking a whole day out of his week, I think that's crazy. We can't do that in our industry. But could we take 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week and say, during these 2 hours, I'm going to do this and nothing else is going to get on my calendar, protecting your calendar. And I'm talking about to go your business to the next level. You're already doing your 90 minutes a day, but what if you added another week or two, an hour or two per week? 1 hour a week maybe. Shut up, Brian. On what? On the business. You know how we say we're in the business and on the business? What if you just time blocked something that you're getting done each week? For me, it would be who in the room is not willing to do the database letters. What if you just decided to do it this week?
What if you just decided to do the 2 letters that are this week? You could put it in your calendar, I promise you. I wanted to put in that bold law, what you focus on expands, but I messed up and said it's simple, not easy.
We just did.
The third thing was, who are you spending your time with? Another one that Gary talks about in the 6 personal perspectives, and I'll talk to you sometimes on the ALC committees, it's who are the 5 people that are affecting your life the most. And this can be your clients, it can be your social peers, it can be your, unfortunately or fortunately, family members. But when you think about who you may be spending time with and are they affecting your business and your life, or who might you want to spend time with, who's your mentor? Do you have one? If not, how could we get you one? And then the last one about the learned minimalism, somebody tell me what they think about that. I don't know how to spell it. Somebody spell it.
M-I-N-I-M-A-L-I-S-M.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm minimalistic on my ability to spell. Somebody tell me what that means in your business world. What did you say, Brian?
Buy valve. The thing is, you need to stay focused, on the big rocks.
Okay,
What's
the big
gonna
rocks.
make you money, as opposed to don't mistake movement for achievement. Stay focused. Do the time blocking part. And what's going to make you money? That 20%, 80%, the Pareto principle. Does that make sense?
One thing that I agree with you 100%.
Excuse me.
And what I think about also, and I keep bringing up the one thing, if you guys haven't read it, I feel it's life-changing on time blocking. Making an environment that you can get your most important work done in, even if you have to walk out of the normal space that you're in during that time. So I think that minimalism in general is good for all of us, as far as we don't want a bunch of clutter in our life. But he'll refer to it as a bunker in some of Gary's materials, where do you have a space that during this time you can draw the blinds, shut off the world, and actually get those most important activities done? Do you have that in your life? And is it an environment that's ready for you? You know, can you minimalize all the distractions, right? And the last thing he said talked about focus, energy, and willpower. During your most energetic time of day, which is morning, can you focus on the most important things? Even if it's the first 90 minutes, what he basically said was, if you try it at 90 minutes for 90 days, and the one thing at 66 days, can I do it one day at a time? That's for me. And I know that it's important. And then all of those in your life, stuff happens. So getting a tight bubble, what was this one? Tight bubble of total focus on your calendar. What else do I have? Anything else? Jane, are you guys doing breaks this month? Do you know?
June?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably we'll have some more content.
I can't remember what the calendar is, but if you guys don't know, there's a group of people working on the database in eEdge as a one-thing focus.
We'll probably do it after a team meeting, so maybe the last one of June.
Okay. We'll talk about when. Did I lose the thing? Here it is. So you're about getting having one.
I have 2 things.
Earl.
Okay, first of all, let's see, I texted Jennifer, a full week of Mega Camp is $9.99.
$9.99.
And then they break it down, Mega Agent Camp is $3.99.
$3.99.
Agent Mastermind is $400. And you're gonna Mega Leadership is $349, and then Mega Agent Keynote Speaker is $79. So, yeah.
So it sounds like it's $3.99. I think it's 2 days.
Package, yeah. The other thing is, Ruth brought this to my attention. I played caveman or lumberjack all weekend. But apparently the Russians are hacking old home routers. There's a list of them that I found on the internet, but I would suggest when you get home, reboot your router. Just unplug it, plug it back in, and just to clear the caches on it. Because what the thing is capable of doing is they can remote in and they brick your router. It doesn't work anymore. And that gives them control to do whatever they want with your you know, they could turn it into whatever kind of machine they want. So, those are my 2 things.
Weird. Okay, on that note, anybody else have a have or a want?
I want open houses, anybody that has.
You want to hold open houses? You want to hold open houses, and I know there are some agents who, have open houses they want. I put you guys out something to the internet that there's a couple of agents looking for admin assistants. So keep that in mind if you're a person who wants to, for me, there's lots of you who could use the experience of the input, and then the agents who are so busy that they don't wanna hire an assistant but could use some help, so might be a good marriage for short term. Who's the agent of the week? Taylor. She's been active on the committees and helping and mentoring, and thank you for all you do, and enjoy that parking spot. That's all I got. Have a great week.
Florida, can we get another one?
Yeah.
I told Earl to check the schedule.
I know, I just